Hey, what's going on? What's happening, guys? Good afternoon. Today is Tuesday, March 27th, 2018. And in today's video, I'm going to be telling you guys why you should never buy a domain through Shopify. In general, I'm a big fan of Shopify. Love the platform, very easy to use. I love how they have all the apps tied in there. And for the most part, for the past several years that I've been using them, they've been very good for me. I have 3 to 4 stores through Shopify, and I probably shouldn't have done this from the beginning, but basically, let me kind of start the story from scratch. So it's been a long day. Today, I head into the office, printing out, last night's and this morning's orders. Had a couple orders come through this morning. I'm actually logged into the back end of my Shopify dashboard, and I get a call from one of my customers, and she's like, "Oh, your website's down. It says it can't connect to the server." And I have a little bit of an older customer base, so they're not always the most tech savvy. So I get calls like this fairly frequently. And normally, I'll plug in my website, it pops up right away. I'm like, oh, I think maybe you're not connected to the internet, or maybe you're at the wrong site, whatever it may be. Well, my site won't pop up for me. It gives me some message, can't connect to the servers. So me and my business partner, we have 3 or 4 different Shopify stores. Try to check another Shopify store domain, doesn't pop up, can't connect to server. We try the third one. The third one pops up perfectly fine. So now I'm a little bit confused. Like, why are 2 of my Shopify stores down and 1 isn't? So I wind up calling Shopify, talking to the girl over there, the Shopify rep, and she tells me, let me check my dashboard updates, gets back to me. Oh yeah, it looks like we're having a problem with OpenSRS. So for anybody who doesn't know, OpenSRS is, I believe they sell domains. So they're like a GoDaddy or a Namecheap, right? You would buy a domain from them. Well, Shopify doesn't have their own domains. They actually use a company called OpenSRS to buy the domains. Why I bought a domain through Shopify directly as opposed to through like a Namecheap or a GoDaddy, I don't really recall. I think I've done this twice, and it's a complete nightmare. Never buy a domain through Shopify. So I think I bought these 2 domains around the same time. So we're probably going back to 2015. One domain was for a landscaping company that I owned, and I think I had that through Shopify as well. And then the more recent one was basically, I used to run my e-commerce shop through a custom WordPress built site. I had a company in India doing it for me. What was frustrating, it wasn't super user-friendly, so like anytime I wanted to make major changes, it wasn't something I could do on my own. I would have to contact them. And then also, if my site went down, because India is in a completely different time zone, if my site goes down at 9 in the morning, I'm pretty much having to wait till like 11 o'clock at night until my developers are back in the office and they can do something for me. So anyhow, I started toying with the idea of, maybe I'll check out Shopify. Well, I didn't want to port over my main domain, right, just to play around with Shopify. So I think I bought a new domain that was kind of a secondary domain, and started building a Shopify store just to see, like, do I really like the platform? Is it going to work for this project? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I bought the domain. Well, it wound up turning out I fell in love with Shopify. My designers over in India were kind of starting to flake on me. Their hosting was really expensive, and my hosting package came up for renewal, and I was like, you know what, screw it, I'm just going to move over to Shopify. Well, I wound up making this secondary domain my primary domain. I forwarded my initial domain over to this new store, and so that's why I bought it through Shopify, right? Like, I never really had any intention of using it as my primary website. It just kind of turned out that way. So anyhow, haven't really had any issues with it. But here's the problem. If you ever want to move away from Shopify, if you ever want to mess with anything, it's a complete shit show trying to get access to your domain to transfer it. And I remember this back when I had my lawn care company. We sold the lawn care company at the end of 2015. Obviously, the company I sold it to, they wanted to take over the website, take over the domain, everything else. Like with GoDaddy, it would have been super easy. I think this guy used GoDaddy. It literally would have been like, plug in his email, send a domain over to him, and it's done. Well, because it's through Shopify and OpenSMS, like, I'm calling Shopify, they're telling me, no, you have to contact, what did I say, OpenSRS or whatever. OpenSRS is telling me, no, you bought it from Shopify, you got to connect, you got to call Shopify. So they're sending me back and forth. Shopify gives me some special email address, send an email to domains.shopify@shopify.com, whatever it is. Send that there. They're supposed to send me a code that I then plug into OpenSRS to get access to that domain or unlock that domain to then send it over to GoDaddy or Namecheap. was never getting the code. I would contact Shopify support. Well, you should have been getting the code. Well, what email is it set up to? Well, we can't tell you that. And well, it could be one of these 3 emails. Well, I can't tell you which one. Basically the whole thing turned into a shit show. At the end of the day, it turned out the landscaping company that bought my landscaping company wasn't even going to use my domain. So after all this headache of trying to take over this domain from OpenSRS and port it over to this guy's GoDaddy account, we finally just gave up. Well, fast forward to now, Shopify, apparently, when I talked to this girl at Shopify, apparently Shopify is having a problem with OpenSRS domains. So basically, if you didn't buy your domain through Shopify, you're perfectly fine, right? If you bought it from GoDaddy, Namecheap, you're good. If you bought your domain from Shopify, your site has been down all day. Now, I realize with any company, right, like shit happens, you are going to experience downtime. I remember last summer, there was that big like nationwide hack that happened. And granted, that was kind of an especially unique situation. But that situation happened, and it really affected Amazon Web Services, which I think a lot of people would probably argue is like one of the best hosting options out there. So if it can affect Amazon, it can affect anybody. But what's kind of disappointing to me, when I initially called the girl, she's like, yeah, our team's working on it. It should be back up pretty soon. Well, that was at 10 o'clock this morning, Chicago time. It is 5:15 in the evening, Chicago time. Still not back up. I signed myself up for updates on the progress of getting things back on live from Shopify. Haven't gotten any text messages knowing anything is back. I had one customer, the guy's kind of a jerk. He basically ordered something from me. He wanted Saturday delivery. FedEx does not offer Saturday delivery to every area. So as soon as I talked to him, I got off the phone, I tried to print his label. Saturday delivery is not available here. So I try to call him back. I leave him a voicemail. Hey, I couldn't do your thing for Saturday. I'm going to refund you the difference between Saturday and standard overnight. And it'll be out there on Monday. Also send him an email. I get a call from the guy today. Yeah, I ordered something from you on Friday, and you told me it'd be there Saturday. And it wasn't there Saturday, so now I don't want it. So, he wasted my money. Now he wants to send it back. Well, he must have called me 3 more times. I called my credit card company and I want to send this back to you. Can you provide me a label? I said, I'm not going to provide you a label. I said, I communicated to you that this wasn't going to be available for Saturday delivery. I told you up front, Saturday delivery isn't available to all areas. I'm sorry you didn't get my messages, but, if you want to send it back, I'm happy to give you a return, but you're going to have to ship it back to me at your cost. So he wanted the address. Apparently, he went on my website. Well, of course, my website's down, so now it's a huge deal to him. I don't know what kind of outfit you're running there, but your website isn't even up. I don't know if you're trying to disappear. So that kind of turned into a big shit show. Fortunately, unlike I know a lot of people out there don't have a customer support number or don't put a phone number out there on their website. Fortunately, I do have an 800 number. Most of my customers know my 800 number. All my customers have business cards. So I was able to get phone calls today and take some phone orders from people. But I mean, all my customers, anybody who goes to my website is getting a dead page. And, normally I have, anywhere from 20 to 50 orders going out per day. I think today I had 9 orders going out, which is actually pretty good considering I don't even have a live website today, and we're able to get 9 phone orders in. That's pretty good. But I mean, it probably cost me, we'll say probably $7,000. Not $7,000 out of my pocket, but it probably cost me $7,000 in sales. Obviously, we're only making a small percentage off of each sale, but when your hosting is down, when your domain service provider is down, whatever shopping platform you're using, when they're down, that's, you can't take orders, you can't make money. So, choosing reliable hosting, choosing a reliable domain provider, choosing a reliable e-commerce platform, incredibly important. And normally when these things go down, a half hour later you're back up, maybe an hour later. She told me by mid-afternoon. I've been trying to call them to get an update. Not that it's going to do anything, but I've been trying to call them to get an update, and I can't even get through on the phones. I imagine they're getting blown up in phone calls. So really kind of stupid of me to leave my domain with Shopify in the first place. Like I said, it was just kind of a fluke that it wound up happening this way. But typically, you're always going to want to try to keep as much separation between hosting companies and domain providers as possible. So I mean, if you're going to buy your domain from GoDaddy, don't buy your hosting from GoDaddy. If you buy your domain from GoDaddy, buy your hosting from HostGator or Bluehost. If you buy your hosting from Bluehost, don't buy your domain from Bluehost. Buy it from GoDaddy. So I mean, I guess first off, if I didn't buy my domain through OpenSRS, I wouldn't have any issues. But I mean, worst case scenario, had I bought my domain through somebody else, I could have potentially forwarded another domain and gotten my store back up live today. And as it stands, I'm just down. So, I don't know, it's frustrating for my customers, it's frustrating for me, I'm not making any money, and it kind of looks, I feel like when a company's website is down, it makes you look a little bit less professional, a little bit less reliable. Some customers, think if somebody has an open order with you, people have a tendency to think that you took their money and ran off. So hopefully this issue gets resolved quickly, but like I said, always keep separation, really anything in business, right? Like, don't put too much control in one person's hands. And really, I guess a lesson learned is never buy hosting from GoDaddy, or never buy a domain from Shopify. Like I said, I mean, I'm sure GoDaddy has downtimes. I'm sure, pretty much everybody out there has downtimes. I've had other hosting companies. I've used various platforms. Like, sure, at some point everybody goes down. But even furthermore than just a downtime today, if you ever want to move your domain off of Shopify, it's a complete nightmare. I've tried to do it before and just wound up giving up in the end. So that's all I got for you guys today. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button below. And if any of you guys are experiencing this as well, drop a comment below. Let me know what your experience has been. Again, just because you have a Shopify store doesn't mean you're down. It's only if you bought your domain through Shopify that your site's going to be down. But I'd love to hear from you guys. Drop a comment in the comment section below, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.